Welcome to Trail Mix, a fresh blend of what's happening at Rowan-Cabarrus Community College and in the world of higher education. It's everything you need to keep you informed, inspired, and as always, navigating forward. Today we're joined by two individuals from our Student Wellness Center. We're super excited about the topic, and I'll have them introduce themselves.
Good morning. I am Dr. LaRhonda Bryson, Director of Student Support Services here at Rowan-Cabarrus Community College.
And I am Imani Crawford. I'm the Case Manager for Student Needs and Community Partnerships.
Thank you guys both for being here with us today and just talking about how we can provide just holistic support to students no matter where they're coming from. So thank you guys for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
When we're looking at student supports and wellness resources, a lot of times when you think about like the college's role with those two topics, most people generally think of financial aid, scholarships, academic advising, things along those lines. But here at Rowan-Cabarrus, we really are trying to strive towards taking a holistic approach to student support, both at the college and outside. We know that outside stressors definitely have an impact in the classroom. So trying to find ways to eliminate some of those barriers goes a long way. Would you guys agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I definitely would agree. It's looking at the whole student, everything that they have going on. So a little bit beyond the academics and financial aid, of course.
Here at the college, you guys have kind of spearheaded a few different resources available for students. One of those, for instance, that we have in place is something called the Zen Zone. And Imani, I'd love to just open it up and let you talk through that.
Sure thing, yes. The Zen Zone was a very fun project. What we wanted to incorporate here was some form of a safe space, a quiet space for students to come and decompress in between classes, even if they needed a place to wait and calm down in between appointments with maybe financial aid or other departments. So we have a Zen Zone right now at both North and South campuses. The South Campus location, if you are in the Wellness Center suite, that same floor as the navigation station, then you can easily be directed to that Zen Zone. The Zen Zone here at North Campus is located in that financial aid wellness trio OA suites, which again, the navigation station and N101 can help you get to. It just looks like a lot of, self-care tools. We have a yoga mat in both Zen Zones, some beanbag chairs, coloring books, anything to help a student decompress in that moment so they can get back on track with academics.
That's awesome. Have you found students been naturally gravitating towards those resources?
There are some students who naturally gravitate towards it. I think we see that more at South Campus because it's more accessible. The North Campus Zen Zone, we're trying to get it to be a little bit more visible. So what we've had the opportunity to do here is actually bring it out for some of our events like Planning with a Purpose and Artful Aspirations. So students get a feel for what does it look like to be in a Zen Zone. So we are right now trying to, amp up that participation here.
When do you see students generally visiting the Zen Zone? There's certain times of year that, I would imagine just naturally as the semester goes on, there would be peaks in terms of academic rigor. But is there any patterns or anything special you guys do for certain times of the year with the Zen Zone?
You're hitting the nail on the head that around those times of exams and finals, we tend to see a little bit more participation in the Zen Zone. The one thing I would say we try to encourage as far as the North Campus Zen Zone, there's a whiteboard in there. We try to encourage students, leave a message, an encouraging word for the next student. Hopefully that will encourage them to, one, remember it and come back here and see if there's a message for you or just staying in that kind of community mindset. But we leave it pretty open to students, or we will let other departments know. If you have someone waiting to meet with you, tell them about the Zen Zone and they can wait in a comfortable place.
I love the idea of students leaving notes for other students. That really does build that good sense of community and support here. I think it means a lot when it's coming from somebody who's kind of walking the same path as you in similar shoes and knowing that they're not trying to tackle some of this stuff alone.
Right.
What else do we have on campus that helps provide that support for students?
I will say another big resource that I'm always very proud to share about is the pantry on North and South campuses. Our pantries are available to students, no charge. They can take up to 50 pounds of food every week. And if possible, if they need to bounce between campuses, they can get food at both locations as long as it's under that 50 pounds for the week. Items tend to include, of course, canned goods, any of your food items, as well as any of your hygiene items, cleaning supplies, and baby products. That last category is right now what we're tending to ask a lot more of. That's a harder sell, especially when you're talking about baby products. Very, very pricey. So just available to students to try to encourage, right? If you're struggling with food insecurity, you don't have to do it alone. And we can connect you outside to outside pantries as well if needed.
You talked about baby products. Has there been a surge in need for those resources?
Absolutely. Yes. As our population is growing, a large population of students who are adult learners, who are parents, moms, dads, and they're looking for those resources, not just for food, but to make sure their children are taken care of as well. So we're trying to meet that need. It tends to be that we see a lot more donations for food, not so many donations for those needs. So there's a scarcity there.
There's definitely a lot more, think of food pantries as just being things that you consume. But yeah, diapers, man, I didn't think about that necessarily. Just other things that people would just use on a regular basis or that are necessities if you're in that stage of life that they definitely need. And would, if they're having to choose between buying books or buying diapers or buying food or buying gas for their car, they're going to go with the diapers and the food and the gas over the books. Like education is going to come second. So I think like having this food pantry is so vital just to be able to help kind of eliminate that barrier for some students so they don't have to choose, that they can come and not have to worry about what's going to be dinner or how am I going to feed myself or my children, my family tonight. And they can be 100% focused in the classroom so that they can succeed. Man, that's a huge resource. And I love that we have that here.
Yeah.
So.
I will also add to just with the food pantry, we also can connect students to resources in the community. So let's say a student has food stamps or need assistance applying for food stamps. We can sit down and help them with that service, but then also have the conversation with them about taking food from the pantry, but then combining that with the use of your food stamps or your WIC card. And so that you use maybe your WIC and your food stamps card on maybe meats and produce or like milk, certain things like that, if we don't have that in the pantry at the time. And then using more your pastas and your canned goods, things you might get from the pantry. So just being able to balance the resource in the community with what we also have here on campus, I think is very beneficial. So we're able to connect them to outside resources, trying to help with whatever barrier that they have to learning, to be able to help with that resource, which is very good.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Yeah, that's a great strategy for students to kind of look at how they can pair up what's out there already, what they might have access to with what they can use here. So that's a great point.
I want to mention, we've noticed that food insecurity is just a big thing, not only in the world, but on our college campus. So we're also doing a trial where we have the mobile market carts. And so we have a cart in the cosmetology building in their main dining area or their break area. And then at NCRC, more so near the vending machines, their break area. And we've taken some of the supplies out of the pantry and put those on the cart just to see the need. So students, basically, there's a box on there and they would write the date that they were seen at the pantry so we know who's being seen at the pantry and maybe their student number. We're doing a trial period to see, is the need big enough to be able to create maybe a pantry on the other campuses also.
That's a great idea. I love that we're moving in that direction to have food pantries and resource pantries at every single campus. And ultimately, that's the goal. Yeah, it kind of defeats the purpose where students drive, 15, 20 miles one way to access some of these resources when we can find a way to bring it directly to them. So, yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. Dr. Bryson, I know one of your initiatives when you came on board here has been really well received and super popular with these mobile wellness units. And I'd love to just kind of hear you talk a little bit about how that's going.
Yeah, the mobile wellness unit, we're partnering with Cabarrus Rowan Community Health Center. We're trying to help eliminate student barriers to whatever they need to succeed in school and just look at the holistic view. So what these mobile units do is they bring medical care and mental health services here to the campus. And they come on the campus every Tuesday and they alternate between the North Campus and South Campus. Students can do walk-in appointments or students can email studentwellness@rccc.edu and schedule an appointment. But it gives students that space on campus where they don't have to go anywhere and they can receive services for themselves or for their families. We've done a trial period for 3 months at no cost to students. And as of right now, we will have the students will start using more so their insurance or being able to waive their fees by providing pay stubs if they don't have insurance or they only have a job. And so still be able to provide that service to students, hopefully to look more into that in the future. But as of right now, we will also provide this service through the summertime, which will be beneficial to students. So on Tuesday, to be able to walk up to the mobile unit that's here at North Campus at N106, South Campus S202 in the parking lots, but to be able to see a healthcare professional or to be able to see a mental health provider. I've heard great feedback thus far, and students have the convenience to be able to stop at the mobile between classes or right after class and to be able to bring their children and family members that are within their household to get the service.
So what kind of services do they offer?
So the type of service is primary care. Any main thing that you would go to a doctor for, you can initially be seen inside of the mobile. They do blood work, they do urine samples, different type of lab work. If you need something outside, like a specialist, they will refer you to that specialist. Another thing they do is if you want to sign up to get health insurance and you don't have health insurance, they can help sign you up for health insurance. If you want more education, they can sign you up for those type of conversations. Also, any type of reproductive health, diabetes, eye care, it's a gamut of things. So if you have to go to a specialist after that visit, they will get you there. But the main things you would go to a primary care physician about or primary care doctor, that's what they are able to cover within the mobile.
Where did this idea stem from? Essentially bringing doctor's offices onto community colleges. What gave you the idea that we had a need for it, and how did you approach that?
So I want to say the idea stemmed from Dr. Natasha Lipscomb. So when I first started, she had this idea in her head already, just bringing more services, I think, to campus for students. So I'm a social worker. My background and Imani's background is in social work. And so as social workers, we holistically look at people and how can we help them in their environment. So when Natasha shared the vision with me, that just came naturally. Like, okay, as a social worker, if I assess your needs and I look at the pillars of wellness, and so I'm looking at Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you need to eat, you need to feel okay, your mental health needs to be taken care of, and we can get that service to come to campus. We kind of just went from there. She birthed the idea and had the initiatives and the conversations, and then I just came along and go, that fits right on the social work path of how we serve people in general, most social workers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
If I'm a student and coming on campus, how do I find out about these resources? How do I find about the mobile health units, the Zen Zones? Where would I look?
If you are curious about anything that we offer in the Student Wellness Center, you can go to our webpage, Rowan-Cabarrus Community College webpage. You can find us under Student Wellness. We can also email us directly at studentwellness@rccc.edu. We get a lot of requests for different needs, and it's our role to kind of funnel that and determine the best way we can help you. So that's always a good starting point if you just want to email us.
And then whenever we have events, you'll see them on the digital screens. We'll send out email blasts. You will see flyers around the area. So anytime we have any type of wellness events, you will see that around campus. But again, going to our student wellness website on Rowan-Cabarrus Community College page is where we'll house a lot of the events and programs such as a mobile unit, all those, the food pantry, all the Zen Zone, everything is there. We also just recently added to the web page a virtual wellness center. So there's a lot of resources on there in regards to you can take your computer and click on one of the yoga classes and then take your computer and go into the Zen Zone to do it. There's a lot of resources because we know we have some students that don't ever come to campus. So this gives them a virtual option to kind of interact with our wellness center, but there's a lot of different resources on there. And you'll see it set up just like a Zen Zone or a wellness center, and they can click on the link. So there's a lot of things there. So we try to keep in mind all students as we're trying to navigate new initiatives and put programming in place.
Have y'all seen an impact?
Yes, I had one student, and she was okay with me sharing her testimony, but she came and said that she was so thankful for the mobile wellness unit. She said the staff was very welcoming and that she needed to get medication, and they brought it back to her at no cost. So she didn't have to pay to get that medication brought to her from the mobile unit. And she just had good feedback to say about the resource. And I want to say I've heard nothing but amazing things about the pantry. I was here at North Campus with a parent and just getting diapers, and I got to see the little person too that was going to be the recipient of the diapers. So yes, we have heard great feedback. And my goal for the Wellness Center is just to get the name out there that every student knows that it exists. You may not need it at the time, but sometimes in life there's resources you may not need, but I want you to know they're here when you do need them and that you know how to tap into them and navigate them. So that's my goal, that I can walk up to any student, no matter traditional student, early college, parents, whoever that utilizes the campus as a student, and they will say, oh yes, I know about the Wellness Center. Oh yes, I know about the Zen Zones. I know about the food pantry. I know that we have Imani Crawford here, case manager, to help you navigate resources in the community, even if you don't need it.
Yeah, every single student that comes through here, like all of us collectively, we all have our own individual struggles and stressors in life. And, I think it's really nice that the community college can be just that for students. They can feel like a community all here in one place where they can come and they can find support for, whatever it is they're dealing with that day or that season. We all need a little bit of help sometimes. Some days we need more help than others, and that's perfectly okay. But that's why we're here. So I just love it. This is fantastic. What a great way to start. So thank you so much for being a part of this. It's a real pleasure to talk with both of you guys. Really appreciate it. So thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to Trail Mix. For more stories, updates, and to learn more about how Rowan-Cabarrus Community College can help you navigate forward, visit us at www.rccc.edu. Next time on Trail Mix.
People were walking through history to learn about their future. This is your town. This is your area. So we became a continuation of a welcome center. Also, we met people that would never walk on to a college campus. So it helped us plant seeds that are still blooming today.